Hi! A number of my friends out there want to know how to make Burmese sticky rice, and I've talked about it before. It's a comfort food of mine. Burmese sticky rice, handed down through my mum and dad, and particularly my mum's heritage from Burma, or as it's called now, Myanmar. And Burmese sticky rice is a really nice comfort food. I'm going to explain and show you why. Now, what do we need for Burmese sticky rice? What's the Burmese name of Burmese sticky rice? I'm not sure. It's been passed through down the line, and as much as I talk to everyone, we can't come up with the right Burmese name for it, so I'm going to stick with Burmese sticky rice. Let's have a look. Okay, first of all, it's a sticky rice, so what you need is a rice that looks a little bit like this, and it's a glutinous rice. Now, glutinous does not mean contains gluten. It's only glutinous because it's got that sticky texture when water is added. And, for the science behind it, there's very little amylase in that, a type of glucose molecule which absorbs water. Well, it has very little of that in it. That's what probably makes it sticky. So glutinous rice. You need a glutinous rice, and for this today we're going to have 1 cup, and I always put a bit more than 1 cup. We're also going to need some chopped or roughly chopped onions. I'm using some pink onions today because they sweeten well, so we're going to use some pink onions. Also, we're going to use some ginger. Now, this is actually some freshly grated ginger, which I just grated just earlier. You can easily get by with using a tube of ginger. And how much ginger do you need? About that much. My mum used to tell me when you have a piece of ginger like this, it's about 1 thumb. So I guess this bit here is about 1 thumb. So that knob there, if you cut that off and then grated that, it would probably give you about that much. I've probably done a little bit more for today, and that fresh ginger smells lovely. The other bits we need later on is some sesame seeds. I'm going to show you that shortly, how we use that, and obviously a range of oils, some olive oil, some sesame oil to give it that flavour, and turmeric, and we'll get to that shortly, and I'll show you how that works. Okay, we're now going to have a look, take the ingredients over to the stove, and we're now going to get it ready to cook. Okay, just heating the pan, and we're going to add a bit of extra virgin olive oil. The flavour, a little bit of sesame oil. And as that pan's heating up, we want to be able to throw in some onions. About half a large onion, roughly chopped. Add a bit of salt. Now, as it's starting to sizzle, you can add add some turmeric, and I am pretty generous with the turmeric because later you'll see it gives that nice rich colour and taste that mixes with the sesame seeds later on. So, as your onions are frying there, just going to add a bit of turmeric. You can see I've added close to a tablespoon of turmeric there. Nothing better than turmeric and onion smell. fried onions. As those onions become a bit translucent, we'll then add the ginger. So again, we're using about, that's equivalent to, I'd say a bit more than a tablespoon of ginger, equivalent to 1 and a bit thumbs of the ginger stalk, then grated, and I did that one on a planer. Okay, the ginger and onions have been frying for a couple of minutes, and the turmeric's in there. Amazing aroma at the moment, a mixture of ginger, turmeric and onion. We're now going to add the glutinous rice. Just simply sprinkle across the pan. Keep it on a bit of a medium heat. And we want to just spread that through. I'll just turn the heat down a bit so it doesn't burn, but we want to get the turmeric, the onion, the ginger mixed throughout the glutinous rice. And we want the glutinous rice to heat, not necessarily fry, but heat through, and it will become a little translucent. It's not like a risotto rice, which gets a little bit translucent, but you'll notice it will change texture ever so slightly. You can see that colour of the turmeric and the onions and the ginger. I might just turn that heat up a bit. Just on a low heat. Just going to heat that glutinous rice. Make sure that the colour is throughout all the rice. So you get that faint yellow colour, which will, after we add some water shortly, which will brighten up. Make sure the onions and the ginger spread throughout as we're heating the grains. The glutinous rice is not cooked yet, but it's starting that heating process. Then, I think that's about it. Yep, you can see how it's changing. The rice is changing texture. We're now going to add some water. I'll probably add about a cup and a half for every cup of rice. And this is where you start to slow down the heat. Gentle simmer. Because what we want that to do is absorb those flavours slowly and heat through. Usually complement that ginger with a bit of salt. See that strong yellow colour starting to happen through the dish. The idea now is we simmer this till the rice becomes soft, not too soft. It doesn't even matter if it's still got a little bit of firmness in the rice, and we'll have a look at what that is. This is probably going to take about 10 minutes. Making sure we have enough water that's just covering. I know my mum always taught me just have enough water that's just enough covering. So I'll just add a little bit more. It's probably enough there, and have some spare water on the side that we'll just keep adding as it absorbs that water. Okay, it's been simmering. I've been adding a little bit of water just to keep it moist. It's been probably simmering for close to 10 minutes now. The grains are nice and soft, and you can see here the glugginess or the glutinous or the stickiness of the rice, and you can see the caramelized onions in there, and the aroma of ginger and turmeric's amazing. By the way, ginger and turmeric, two fantastic foods that help within have great inflammatory properties and are great for your health. So it's quite a healthy dish too, I'd say. So you can see I've just turned off the heat. What I'm going to do now is just check to see. Let's just check. Yeah, those grains are soft. A tiny bit of firmness in the grain, but that's okay because the next process will continue the cooking, and it doesn't have to be cooked till it's completely soft. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to take it over to the oven, but before I do, we want to sprinkle on top some sesame seeds. This gives it a really nice flavour when it's grilled in the oven, mixing with the sesame oil and the olive oil and the garlic. The onions and the ginger with the turmeric, amazing flavours. So I'm going to sprinkle. Now don't be too heavy-handed, but enough that it's covering. There's a sprinkling of sesame seeds. I'm using the white sesame seeds. And you can see here that I'm not being too heavy-handed with the sesame seeds. Just gently tapping, filling in any gaps, or not gaps, so any areas that just has a handful of sesame seeds. So I'm now going to take this over to the oven. Okay, we want to be able to set the oven on grill, and I have it around 190 degrees, and that gives it enough heat. As you can see here, currently it's a bit moist and it's got the sesame seeds on top. I'm going to put that in the griller. And I'm going to keep it in there and watch it. I'm going to watch it till it gets a little bit brown on top. The sesame seeds will change colour as they grill, and they'll go a little bit brown. Even the top surface of the rice might get a little bit of a tinge of brown, and that should take probably somewhere between 5 minutes. But you've got to keep an eye on it as the griller is heating from the top, because we want to get that crispy layer on top and moist, sticky flavour, a texture underneath. Okay, that's been in about 10 minutes in the oven, and we'll get it out. And let's have a look at the texture. You can see those little peaks of rice have actually got a nice little, slightly burnt but grilled layer on it. The sesame seeds are brown across it if we were to take a slice out. I mean, this is just a comfort food. Doesn't have to be neat and tidy in terms of how you cut it out. We'll see if we can get a wedge out here. You can see underneath is moist, sticky. You can smell that ginger, smell that onion and turmeric, and so sticky, it's sticking to the ladle. A bit better on presentation next time. Let's just have a taste and see. Crispy on top. You can see the sesame seeds, the onions, the caramelised onions, they've got a bit of a texture on them too. Moist underneath, hint of ginger, turmeric coming through, onions, and crispy sesame seeds and crispy glutinous rice on top. Unbelievable. And always goes well with a Yarra Valley Pinot Grigio. Oh, wonderful comfort food. And that's my family's Burmese sticky rice.